$90 seconds.
Thank you.
$30. $15. 10. 5, 4, 3, 2.
This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis.
Oh, yeah, we are set to go for a brand new season. And, man, are we excited. Can't wait to get this new year started. Can't wait to get going today. Back in our regular time slot, Saturdays and Sundays, 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio. Oh, yeah, you'll be able to watch us this year, too. That's where it gets really exciting. Some of our favorite guests are joining us on program number 1. Josh Smith from scoutingtherefs.com will be with us to tell us about, all the new rules in the National Hockey League. There's not a lot of them, but boy, did they stir it up over the last week or week and a half or so. And Down Goes Brown, Sean McIndoe will join us in hour number 1 as well. Really looking forward to it. Always has great, humorous, and fun insights into the National Hockey League, along with great info as well. Stephen Wino from the Associated Press, covering the National Hockey League, also with us. And from the Courier-Post in New Jersey, Dave Isaac, covering the Philadelphia Flyers, one of the teams that are getting a lot of attention at the start of the year, because what kind of Flyers team is it going to be? They underwent some changes in the offseason. They got a lot of really impressive young players in camp. How many of them are actually going to make the squad? So we'll talk to Dave G. Isaac. That's how you follow him on Twitter, at Dave G. Isaac, about that and much more. As I said, we are really excited, really happy to be back for another season number 7 of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, streaming live, hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio, and also streaming live on video, Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube Live, and Spreaker Live. If you haven't already, please follow us on Twitter, at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, and new for this year, on Instagram as well. Same handles, at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sport, on Instagram and Twitter. And we are really looking forward to a new season. It has been great so far. Season number 7, we are taking some bold new steps and really excited about it and looking forward to it. For those of you that are rejoining us, welcome back. It's nice to have you. For those that will be beginning a new journey with us, welcome. We are equally thrilled that you are here and excited, and we hope you enjoy what we have to offer, because we think it's pretty interesting and it's going to be pretty exciting this year, because there's a lot of things that are going to happen. Our regular features that have proven to be very popular and very successful are back again with us this year. We will have some new things as well. Every Saturday, of course, it is the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We invite you to submit your nominations via Twitter, via Instagram. Sure, still email them to us if you would like to as well. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day on Twitter, on Instagram, at Hockey Unfiltered. Just nominate your dog, a dog you love, a favorite dog as the HU Dog of the Day. They will be recognized in our gallery on our website, hockeyunfiltered.com. And of course, we will be starting a gallery on our Facebook page as well. Now, this feature, I would just want to take a second to say that we're doing it because everyone that listens enjoys it, and it's fun. And we've taken a lot of crap about it in the past. We're not going to anymore. And that's why we're doing it, because it's fun. People enjoy it, have a good time with it. We get some really cool and cute dog pictures as well. And hey, we like recognizing service dogs and working dogs especially. So yes, it is back on Twitter, on Instagram. Hashtag is HU Dog of the Day. Tweet us. Send us your photos on Instagram. We will select a winner at the end of the program. Also returning with us this season, Stephen Laidlaw, the managing editor of DobberHockey.com, back with us for the Fantasy 5 each and every Sunday. He's going to spend a little extra time with us tomorrow as well because, well, we have some strategies that we want to help you with in terms of the draft. So Steve Laidlaw will be with us, the best fantasy advice for your fantasy hockey team each week. And even if you're not a fantasy person or a super stats person as well, you'll find his info interesting, and that's the most important thing. Don't forget, all year long, in addition to our 2 live shows each week, there is our Little Saturday podcast, which drops on Wednesday. It's called the Little Saturday podcast because it's a little weekend in the middle of the week. They drop on Wednesday just to kind of keep the conversation going, just to keep you engaged. There's going to be lots of stuff on our Facebook page. There's going to be lots of stuff on our website, and of course on our Twitter and Instagram handles as well. Again, for those of you that are new for us this week and hopefully all season long, our goal is to provide unfiltered ideas, opinions, and analysis of what's happening in the National Hockey League. Not the cliches, not the PR spin answers. If we like something, we'll say so, and we'll tell you why we like it. And at the same time, if there's something that we don't like or think that is unfair or think that is uncomfortable or don't understand, that we'll tell you why, and we'll ask you for your thoughts on it as well. We don't shy away from serious topics. We ask tough questions and don't try to put lipstick on a pig, to use an old cliche. We also want everyone to feel included and engaged, and you should feel at ease with us as well. If you have a different opinion than I do, that's okay. I'll ask you about it. I'll let you explain why you feel that way. We like to be as interactive as we can through Twitter, through email. @Hockey Unfiltered is the Twitter handle. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is my email. Unlike some other areas, you won't get ridiculed for offering a different take or having a different opinion. And yes, we can still be friends at the end of it all. We will agree to disagree sometimes, but discussion and exchange of ideas and opinion, that's all good. Okay, so let's get into a few things. I've made a whole bunch of notes over the last few hours, few days, few months, and there's a whole bunch of things to get into as we are near the start of a new National Hockey League season that gets going on Wednesday. Like most people, I'm a bit anxious for the regular season to get going. I do kind of feel like the training camp goes on a little bit long, but it's also necessary, so I can understand it a little bit. You got to have a couple of weeks of camp to sort of assess your players and especially assess them together, assess them out on the ice. You will have an idea of their physical fitness because every team does all kinds of fitness tests and the rest of it, and they give players plans for the summer for working out, and they all have their own physical fitness regimes as well. So, but I'm excited to get things going. I'm anxious that the end of camp is approaching. I think more than anything, everybody gets a little excited to have hockey back after a few months away. You know, by the time the Stanley Cup is awarded, or maybe when you get through the draft, or for some it's right after free agency and the first couple of days are done into July. You've had the big signings. You know where the big players are going for next season. Everybody kind of gets, okay, well, I need a little break. It's summertime. The weather's beautiful. I'm kind of anxious to get going again because you've missed hockey now. You've had a little break of a couple of months. And as soon as Labor Day rolls around for me, I don't know if it is about you, but it's as soon as Labor Day rolls around, you kind of get that holiday Monday and it's like, hey, you know what? Weather's going to start turning cooler. and I'm anxious to get some hockey going. I'm anxious to see what the players look like out on the ice. I'm interested to see young players and rookies and even veterans trying to establish themselves in perhaps a new role or with a new team. It's almost time to get excited again for hockey. As soon as Labor Day rolls around, I'm a believer too that you kind of have to go away for a while sometimes and let people miss you as well. And as hockey goes away for a couple of months in the summer, you get past Labor Day, camp opens, and everybody's excited now, and you're anxious because it's been a couple of weeks, and well, why isn't it October yet, and why isn't the season starting? You could make camp a little bit shorter. I'd be okay with that. If you maybe did training camp for a week with rookies only, or young players that are trying to make the team, AHL players from the last season and rookies, no veterans, give them a little break. Guys that are on the team and established and under contract, maybe they don't show up until the second week. After that, jump right in. You have a week with everybody together. You have a couple of preseason games because you got to have those because you got to generate some income. I get that. You want to see players out on the ice together. You want to see players working together, how they're going to gel, if there's going to be any chemistry. But if you had a 2-week training camp, the first week is only rookies, young players. Veterans come in the second week. I mean, they're only playing a game, maybe 2 to begin with. So what's the big deal? Give them a week of training camp. Boom, launch the regular season. Everybody gets a couple of days off before, after the last regular season. It'd be okay if it was a little bit shorter. Just youngsters, early on. You can shorten things down a bit. And if you did that, if training camp lasted a total of 2 weeks, give or take a day, then you could shorten up the season too. Oh, now it gets interesting. You still opened camp at about the same time, in about mid-September, but it was only 2 weeks long. You had rookies and youngsters in the first week. The veterans come in the second week. And then in the middle of the following week, after the 2 weeks of camp, boom, you're starting the season. It's now in September. And that means you can wrap up your playoffs at the end of the season a little bit sooner. See, I'd be okay with that too. If you could wrap it up so that you didn't have the Stanley Cup final being played in June, I'd be perfectly okay with that. Anybody up for that? A little bit of a shorter season? You're not shortening any games. You're not giving players fewer days off. In fact, you're giving them more days off because camp is shorter. Maybe if the Stanley Cup was awarded no later than the holiday Monday of the Memorial Day weekend, that's right at the end of May, you could shorten it up by a couple of weeks, 10 days for sure. That's the last weekend in May for Canadians. It's the weekend after the May 2-4 weekend. I'd be okay with that. Game 7 of the Stanley Cup final being played Monday, holiday Monday of Memorial Day. I'd be plenty okay with that. I think that'd be just fine. Just a little shorter, I'd be good with that. But everybody's excited about the start of the season. It's getting going in a couple of days. We're going to be interested to see what happens over the next few days in terms of teams. We'll be watching the waiver wire to see which players are going to survive. But there's the excitement of a new season. There's the excitement of opening night. Nothing like that. Ceremonies on opening night, when they take place, there is nothing like it. And there has also been a lot of attention on pregame ceremonies in the last few days because of the protests that have been going on in other major sports leagues. I'm not going to rehash everything. That's gone on for a long enough time. But players are being asked about their thoughts and opinions. Some are speaking up, some are deferring. That's too bad, actually. I suspect that they would rather just stay out of any possible controversy, don't want to be any sort of a distraction. I think that's a bit unfortunate. I think it's great when players use their notoriety and their public profile to highlight important issues. An extension of the whole protest thing is the Pittsburgh Penguins, criticized for saying that they'll visit the White House October 10th. Making that trip has kind of become politicized. There's a portion that'll see the Pens going as an endorsement. If they don't go, they'll be labeled disrespectful by others. They got hammered for releasing that statement. It wasn't a new position. They were asked about it on an eve of a nationally televised game. They reissued the statement. That was issued months ago when the invitation came. Players of color have been asked about whether they would protest during the national anthem. If you haven't read it yet, Joel Ward of the San Jose Sharks was asked about it, said he was considering it, had some very good thoughts on the matter. And I think he was very well spoken on it. The National Hockey League Players Association issued a pretty vanilla statement saying they would support players that engage in personal, peaceful protest. They didn't say much else. It would have been good if they had said yes, and we'd like to get more involved and have the conversation go further. The NHL is a multicultural population. They could use that to promote equality and peace. Some are saying they've been offended or it's offensive that the national anthem is a moment of protest. It's disrespectful. I don't believe that. Peacefully drawing attention to an issue does not go against flag etiquette. If it initiates conversation about important issues, we'll all benefit from the discussion. Ensuring someone is receiving their full rights and benefits in society does not mean someone else is receiving fewer or less rights. That means that we are all on an equal platform, and that is an admirable goal. If you want to weigh in, if you have thoughts, we invite you to submit them, as always, at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports via Twitter. We're on Instagram as well, of course. Same handles. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is my email. Send us your Dog of the Day nominees. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Via Twitter, via Instagram. We'll pick a winner. We'll recognize them in our gallery at the end of the program. Great guests coming up, like Sean McIndoe this hour, Stephen Wino later on, Dave Isaac of the Courier-Post covering the Philadelphia Flyers. And when we return after the break, Josh Smith from scoutingtherefs.com will join us. He'll talk about all the new rules. Well, just a little modification and enforcement. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis is back with more after the break.
There's special savings for Hockey Unfiltered listeners with our new ticket partner, Seat Giant. And Canadian fans can also purchase in Canadian dollars. Go to SeatGiant.ca, find the tickets you're looking for. Doesn't matter if it's NHL games, concerts, or any other event. You get a special discount with the promo code TODD. That's Todd with 2 D's. Just enter the code, get the discount, you save. That's simple. Save on your next ticket purchase with Hockey Unfiltered and Seat Giant. The best way to get set for the busy Saturday night of hockey is with Hockey Primetime. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, host Connor McKenna whips you around the league for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game starts. Plus, he'll give his own spin on the biggest stories in the National Hockey League. Hockey Primetime with Connor McKenna. Sometimes serious, sometimes a little goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Search engine optimization is the key to success for your online business. It can be the key to success for any business. 1-844-SEO-LEAD is the number to call to get your business at the top of all searches. An official partner of Google, they have the tools necessary to make your business the one people notice first. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now you can nominate your dog or any dog you love as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day through Instagram. Every Saturday, Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis will take your nominations for the Dog of the Day. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Send us a photo with the dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate your dog. We choose a winner at the end of the show, and your dog will be recognized in the HU Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova Product Design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova Product Design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Nova Product Design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova Product Design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. This is the Saturday edition, here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio. We are also live on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube Live, Spreaker Live, and we have a busy first show. Sean McIndoe will join us later this hour. Stephen Wino, the Associated Press, coming up. Dave Isaac of the Courier Post as well. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day to nominate your dog for the Dog of the Day. Tweet us, send us an Instagram photo. Yes, on Instagram as well. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We'll select a winner. Happy to welcome back to the program one of our favorite guests from last season, and he's just always full of information, gives us a rational interpretation of the NHL rules, unlike some of the hysterical analysis that we have seen as recently as a couple of weeks ago when the National Hockey League began enforcing the slashing penalty and face-off rules a little tighter, and people were freaking out. Always great info as well. His Twitter feed will be very busy once the season gets going. Scoutingtherefs.com is the website. At ScoutingTheRefs is the Twitter handle. And Josh Smith joins us on the line. Josh, do you have a good summer? Catch up on your rest? You ready to go for a busy year?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's important to take advantage of the off-season and get away from the game a little bit, but certainly with all the rule changes, the new guys showing up ready to get back in and get back on the ice out there.
Oh, yeah, looking forward to it. Now, were you surprised at the, I keep falling back to the phrase, hysterical analysis of the National Hockey League and the enforcement of the slashing penalty and the rules? Initially, there was I heard different analysts saying, "Oh, this is ridiculous. Why aren't they letting them play? This is crazy. It's terrible. It's going to make for a terrible game." And funnily enough, 2-3 days later, things started to calm down a little bit. Players realized they can't get away with the slashing the way they used to. I expected this to happen, and now everyone's like, "Oh yeah, wow, how great! We can actually watch the players use their skill again."
Yeah, I think it's the right move. I think with the injuries that we saw, and we've gone through cycles of touching and grabbing, getting eliminated from the game, coming out of the lockout, and penalties were way up, and not just in the preseason, but during the first half of the regular season. It was insane, but it was necessary. Players adjusted. The game got a little bit faster, and those things. I think we have short-term memory because it's something you forget how much the penalty spiked coming out of the lockout. To see something like this, sure, slashing was unprecedented in the amount of times it was called in the preseason. I think we hit 100 slashing penalties in the first 25 games, where we hadn't seen that much in the entire preseason for the past 2 years combined. But I think it was level setting. It's preseason. This is when the players can see and adjust. And if anybody's looking at preseason game, whether it's players on the ice, whether it's the results or even some of the penalty calls as indicative of the regular season, I think you're getting way ahead of yourself. It was the right move for the league to do. It was the right time to do it in the preseason. And players adapt. Like you said, you learn where the line is. And yes, the new line, the line has moved. But I think they started to figure out what they could and couldn't get away with. And I think the officials working with the league loosened up a little bit on some of what they were calling. But even without that, I think the players would have adjusted. And it's great for the game. We don't need to see wax on the hands or people getting injured, especially for long periods of time. We want to see the skill and the action out there. And if the players know where their line is, they'll get used to it, they'll adapt, and hopefully we can get some of the more dangerous flashes out of the game.
The other thing that we saw, and you and I have talked about this a little bit in the past, it was evident with the slashing penalties that were being called, and I'll talk about the face-offs more in a second too, but it was evident with the slashing penalties being called that the referees were communicating and educating the players out on the ice. Yes, they were calling a penalty, but they were also discussing and explaining to players what the issue is. Here's what you may have gotten away with in the past. You can't do that anymore. It wasn't just shut up and get in the box.
Yeah, that's a great point. I think it's one that's lost when you're watching the game. If you're not picking up on that part, how much of the preseason is an educational opportunity for the players when there's a change like this, and for them to understand it. The first time you get called for it, you're like, that's not a penalty. But hey, under the new guidelines, this is how we're going to call it. This is why we called it, and that player's going to know not to do that again. But that communication on ice, we've talked about it. It's overlooked how important the officials and players on ice discussions are with understanding where the penalty line is and why a certain infraction was called.
Josh Smith is our guest from the website scoutingtherefs.com. At scoutingtherefs is how you follow him on Twitter. Now, the other one that did stir up things a little bit as well was the face-off rules and the stricter enforcement of the face-off rules. I'm in favor of it. I think it's great because I think it allows, as we've said, skilled players to use their skill better, to succeed more so than, well, I'm going to cheat a little bit. I'm going to tie up the superior center that I'm matched up with and hope that one of my wingers can jump in and grab the puck. I think this, again, is an example of elevating the skill level overall in the National Hockey League. And again, it takes a little adjusting, because the penalties are severe. If you get tossed out for a second time, you wind up in the penalty box.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, it's not a rewrite. It's enforcement of what's in there, and the players should have been following it all along. We've had some fun last year with some of the officials, especially on Twitter and Instagram, showing, at the time the puck was dropped, here's where everybody was. You see guys all over the place, disregarding hash marks, circle, everything. And the puck gets dropped and the game moves on and nobody bats an eye. But you look at it and say, well, this is probably one of the easiest to enforce, clearest rules of where the guys need to line up. The NHL moves the hash marks for where the guys need to be, but they never seemed to crack down on enforcing it. It was everybody looks fair, we're just going to drop the puck and move on. I think getting the guys where they need to be, this is what the rule is, this is what should be enforced at every level. I think it makes sense, and like you said, it gives guys the room that they need. It actually lets the NHL's move of the face-off hash marks and where the players align mean something rather than just an approximation of where the guys will be, and let's just get the game back in. And like you said, players will adapt. They'll learn that, hey, we got whistled once for it, we're not going to take a chance. We'll be conservative. It's like a double fault in tennis, right? You make that first serve, you hit the net, you're going to be super cautious the next time to make sure it's a good one. And I think that's what we're going to see with face-off.
That's a great comparison with the tennis serve situation. Here's the question, and I don't know if anyone else has thought of this or how the league approaches it. If you can highlight it, there aren't any hash marks in the neutral zone for those face-offs outside the blue line, or even at center ice, there's the large face-off circle to keep the wingers out. How do officials look at it, and how do they enforce that and try to keep at least something close to the same standard?
Yeah, I think when it comes to those, and we don't need to mark up the ice everywhere. We don't need dots and lines inking up everything. But I think what we're looking at there is really just like it's been done in the past at all the face-off spots. Is it fair? Is anybody gaining an advantage, or is anybody interfering with the other guys? And I think those are the 3 points that they'll be looking for. If it's a balance, if it's fair, if no one has a distinct advantage over the other player and no one's interfering or pushing or trying to gain position, I think you're looking at those for what you're going to blow the whistle on. Short of that, obviously you're not going to get down to the millimeter or the inch on where the guys are aligned. But if no one has a distinct advantage, no one's trying to gain territory or stick, hook, check, block out another guy, I think you're okay in those situations. And I don't want to say that a neutral zone draw is any less important, but obviously that you're working with a little more room between the players and the goal. As long as no one's doing anything to get a distinct advantage over their opponent, I think there's a little more leeway there.
Yeah, and you want to pick your battles a little bit too. Josh Smith is with us, Scouting the Refs. Yeah, scoutingtherefs.com is the website. At Scouting the Refs is the Twitter handle. Now, vindication for us. This is something that we talked about last year in terms of the coach's challenge with offside. Instead of losing a timeout, this year you will be penalized 2 minutes if your challenge is unsuccessful. This is something that you and I talked about in the past. I'm really happy to see this change. I think that it's going to have a net result of a better game because there will be fewer challenges, and coaches will not use this as, well, I was going to call my timeout anyway. This way I get more time to let my team regroup after a bad goal goes in. You'll get penalized for it. I just think this is a better solution for everyone, and the game will move along a little quicker because of it.
Yeah, I agree entirely. I won't say that the NHL listens to the show, but we'll just say we all have the same type of divine inspiration. No, I think it's a good move. I know some people are frustrated about it with it making a greater risk, or that the challenge is really intended for the officials to get the call right. I've heard a lot and received a lot of feedback of, this shouldn't be done because that challenge is there to make sure the officials are doing their job and getting the call right. And that's not exactly what it's there for. It's for those egregious situations, like we've said, and not for a stall tactic, Hail Mary timeout of, hey, if I call my timeout, I'll get 30 seconds. But if I challenge, I could get 5, 7, 10 minutes to rest my guys. So I'm going to challenge this for offside. And if it doesn't work, no foul there. So I think you're right. Yeah. The challenges will come down for offside, except for those situations where it's an egregious one. A guy's 2 feet over the line, the puck came out and back in. And those are the challenges that we want to see. These are the best linesmen in the world. They're doing everything full speed, just, with the naked eye there, making those calls, and they get them right a staggeringly high percentage of the time. So I think this directs the coach's challenge for offside more to what it should be for a mistake that was out of character or unexpected or something where it was truly a missed call and not really an opportunity to have a coin toss and see if maybe you can get that call coming back on a technicality.
Yeah, absolutely. The other one this year that has changed is that you cannot use your timeout after an icing call. Again, that's something that coaches were using as a tactic. I want to ask you a hypothetical as a kind of an extension of that, because some have suggested maybe you outlaw icing on power plays, that if you're the defending team, you cannot ice the puck. I'm just not sure how that would be enforced. I mean, other than you get the whistle and the faceoff would come back into your end, but teams would still use that as a tactic. I'm not sure if you outlawed icing, it would have the desired effect. Any thoughts that you want to add to that one?
Well, I think I agree with the theory or the concept that you're permitting a penalized team with getting away with something that they wouldn't normally be able to do. So you're giving an advantage to a team that's been penalized by allowing them to get away with throwing the puck the length of the ice. It doesn't make sense from a logic standpoint that why you'd give them some additional permission just because they got caught doing something else that was illegal. That said, if you want to see how it'll play out, USA Hockey has instituted that very rule for this season. So they will no longer be allowing shorthanded teams to get away with icing the puck. They'll be blowing the whistle. I think initially you'll see a lot more face-offs. If they'll throw it down, you'll get a whistle. And if you're stuck, if you're in a tough spot, either by force of habit or just out of desperation, they're going to ice the puck. They're not going to be able to change players. They'll have tired guys out there. It'll be a draw in the defensive zone. And as a result, I think you'll end up with more goals being scored. Makes for a choppier game, makes for some more stoppages there until players adapt or if they find a different strategy to take. But I think if that were to happen initially, yes, you're going to see a lot of icing shorthanded with teams saying, we're tired, we'll take our chances with another draw rather than turning the puck over.
That's interesting. I'd be really interested to follow that and see how it goes. If it's the same kind of education process that occurred with the slashing rule, I think that'll be really interesting to find that with USA Hockey. Josh Smith, our friend from ScoutingTheRefs.com, at ScoutingTheRefs is how you follow him on Twitter. Great info, like all of the referees and linesmen that are working each game every night, and all kinds of other rules info as well. Josh, always appreciate it. I got about 50 more questions I could ask you, but I'll save some of those for your next visit. How's that?
Looking forward to it. Thanks so much, Todd.
Cheers. Josh Smith from ScoutingTheRefs.com. As I said, his website is full of all kinds of info, including the full rule book, so you can read the rules, how they're supposed to be enforced, and good information as well, in addition to stats of the officials that happen to be working on any given night as well. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports are the Twitter and Instagram handles to follow us. Don't forget, hashtag is HU Dog of the Day. Nominate your dog. The dog you love is the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. We pick a winner every Saturday. Just tweet us a photo, send us on Instagram using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We will select a winner. Coming up later in the program, Stephen Wino from the Associated Press will join us, Dave Isaac of the Courier Post, and in our next segment, Sean McIndoe from Sportsnet, Vice Sports, and much more, talking all things NHL. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back after the break.
So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered.
Hey, Todd, we're getting ready to talk back.
No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs. So you
Sorry, I can't hear you over these spots. Can you lose that?
Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available. Or go to our website, hockeyunfiltered.com, and listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff.
I can't hear you right now.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis podcast. Subscribe
I can't,
now through iTunes.
I can't hear you over the spots. Can we lose those?
Getting more leads.
I can't hear you right now.
SEOLEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEOLEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Nova Product Design is designed for manufacturing. Nova Product Design can get the job done with mechanical and industrial design. Nova Product Design is also fully functional for laser cutting, water jet cutting, plating, coatings, and more. Nova Product Design, innovative design and the latest technologies. Nova Product Design can design, build, and test any required types of prototypes and beta units. Visit novaproductdesign.com. We're looking for your Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day nominations every Saturday. Now you can send them through Instagram. Use the hashtag HUDogoftheDay. Send us a photo of your dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate them as the HU Dog of the Day. Include your name, the dog's name, and any other cool details you want. We choose a winner and add them to the Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. We are back, and our first program continues. Oh man, have we got a busy show ahead? Lots to get to in terms of the National Hockey League, with the season just a few days away from getting going. I know you'll be inundated with previews of teams and divisions and stuff over the next few days. We're not going to dive that deep into it, but I do have some thoughts and some interesting questions for each of the 31 teams in the NHL. We'll get into that as well coming up. Stephen Wino from the Associated Press will join us a little later on in the program. Dave Isaac of the Courier Post will join us. We'll talk Philadelphia Flyers, one of the more interesting teams heading into the 17-18 season. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports are the handles on Twitter and Instagram. Don't forget hashtag HU Dog of the Day to nominate your dog for the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. Oh, yeah, we continue. Do we have Sean McIndoe with us from Sportsnet, Vice Sports, Down Goes Brown? Sean, are you with me? Don't hear Sean. We apologize. We're having a couple of technical issues as we begin our new program. If you missed it off the top, we are starting into a brand new venture and area this year, a season number 7. We are, in addition to being live on hockeyunfiltered.com. Sean, are you there? Sean, can you hear me? Thought he was there, but I guess not. We are starting into a new venture this year with Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. We are streaming live and also audio and video live on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube Live, Spreaker Live. So we have more points of distribution this year and all kinds of other cool things planned as well. We are really looking forward to it, having a very busy season with a lot on the go. The new season is just a few days away from getting going in the National Hockey League. And we are really looking forward to it. Camp is coming to a close. We'll be watching the waiver wire over the next couple of days just to see which teams might try to sneak a player through at the end, hoping that he makes it through to the American Hockey League and doesn't get picked up by somebody else. But it's an exciting time of the year because you're down to the last couple of days of preseason games and National Hockey League games to get ready. Some of the veteran players are in. Some of the teams will be icing what is close to their lineup. The Leafs in Detroit did that last night. Montreal didn't do that, but Florida did that in their game last night. And everybody's just kind of maybe trying for that one last look at a player, one last look at someone who might be able to help your team, maybe help them get over that hump, get to that next step and see what happens.
I mentioned a little bit earlier, I thought it would be good to see the camp shortened up a little bit. If you just had rookies and young players in the first week, then add the veterans in the second week, shorten the camp. You could shorten the window for the season, maybe move up the end of the playoffs out of June. I'd be okay with that, but we're going to see a lot of new things this year. We were just talking with Josh Smith from scoutingtherefs.com about officiating, stricter slashing enforcement, stricter face-off rules enforcement. I like the new rule of not being able to use your timeout after an icing. I think that's positive. I think it's terrific. I think it's great. I'm anxious to see how it affects teams. Maybe we'll have a few more power play goals, and if scoring goes up, then that's okay. I think it's positive. If we have a little more scoring and a few more goals per game, totally okay with that. I think it's good. I don't know if this is the only way to do it, but I think it's I think it's positive. I think there's still going to be a bit of a rise in penalties at the start of the season, not quite to the same extent that we saw at the start of the preseason, because you'll have all of the regulars in the lineup, so to speak. You'll have had a couple of weeks of education from NHL officials and coaches. And I think you'll have players that have learned a little bit. But I think with the start of the new season and the intensity inevitably ramping up a little bit with players, there's going to be that enthusiasm and excitement out on the ice when the adrenaline gets going and you're coming from behind and you're trying to back check and you kind of hack and whack a little bit more than you should. And there are going to be a few plays that get whistled. And there might be a little bit of a rise in the number of penalties called for slashing, especially if it's up on the hands. Referees are looking for that. They sort of tone down a little bit. If you give somebody a little tap on the hip, I guess that's okay. But I think there might be a little bit of a rise early on in the season. I don't think that's a bad thing. A few more power plays is not necessarily going to be a bad thing. I think that'd be okay. A few more power plays, a little bit more scoring. I can see how that would be a positive. Yes, there will be some frustration and there will be a little bit of a learning curve at the start of the season. I don't think it's going to be nearly as extreme as it was at the start of the preseason, because everybody's had a bit of education. And I love what the Winnipeg Jets were doing too. Initially on in the preseason, more penalties are being called for slashing. Players were getting tossed and penalties were being called for face-off violations. There were some games that had multiple face-off violations in a single game. What the Winnipeg Jets do, they brought in former NHL referee Paul Dvorsky to get on the ice with them, show them what the rule is, what the referees are looking for. I think that was a great idea. I'd like to see more teams do this. I'd like to see more teams be a little innovative. Yeah, let's get a referee in. What a great idea. Show them what the rules are. And players will learn from that as well. They'll understand that, yes, this is the rule. This is what the officials are looking for this year. And also, okay, well, if they're looking for this, then I might be able to get away with something else. Because players are always doing that. They're always looking for something they can get away with. I think that'd be good. And I think that was really really forward thinking of the Winnipeg Jets to do that. I'd like to see more teams do that. Some teams will have referees and officials work inter-squad games to help them as a learning method for their team. I think that's smart. Get them out on the ice. Find out what the enforcement level is going to be. Find out what the standard is. Let the players learn and practice so they don't have to pay the price during the game. I think it's going to be interesting to see how that works out. In addition to, of course, all the new players that are going to be on all of the different teams. I'm excited for the new season. And we've gotten a taste of it now as preseason games are underway. But I've also noticed and kind of looked at the new sweaters or jerseys, if you prefer, that players are wearing this year. There was a big fuss last year when it was announced they were changing manufacturer. There was going to be no third jersey for teams. I'm okay with that this year. I'm okay if there's no third jersey this year. I'd like to see it happen again eventually for some teams. Some people didn't like that. Some people don't like the changes and adjustments that have been made. I don't think there's been any significant, incredibly dramatic changes. The Oilers wearing that orange was maybe the most significant. Some people don't like that. They're a little hostile about it. It's not my favorite, but I don't think it's evil or anything. They didn't muck too much with the original 6 teams because people would lose their mind if they did. Personally, I like the stripes around the bottom. The traditional stripes around the bottom. There's some that don't have a stripe or have just a thin stripe, and it's right at the bottom sometimes. I don't know. Some of those don't really appeal to me. And did you notice, though, that the material is a little different? It's like a textured thing, on the shoulders especially. I haven't seen every team up close on TV or in person, but a bunch of the teams have kind of this textured, dimpled look on the shoulders. It's kind of a quilted thing. I don't know. You have somebody in your family that does quilting? It kind of looks like a quilted look, or what's the other one? The quilted toilet paper that some people talk about. It has kind of a dimpled, textured, quilted look for it. I kind of like it, actually. It's a little bit different. It's a little tough to see in pictures, but if you look at it closely, I think it's pretty cool. I'm not a big fan of the white collar on some of them, but I kind of like the new textured, dimpled, quilted look. There's a post up on our Facebook page that you can check out. Just scroll down and check it out on our Facebook page. Have a look at it. You can look at the different jerseys. They're all there. Again, the collar, the white collar, looks a little bit dramatic on some of them. It's really harsh between the dark home jerseys and the white collar. Some of them, I don't know, it doesn't sit too right, but you can check them out. If you want, there's a link that you can click through as well, because I know people are always interested in purchasing their new jerseys for the start of the season. You always want to have the latest one. You can click through on our link, and maybe there might be a little discount at the other end too. So click through. You can check out the jerseys on the Facebook page. If you like them, great. Let me know. I'm okay with most of them. I don't have a problem with them. I think they're okay. And I kind of like the quilted, dimpled, textured look on the shoulders as well. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports are the Twitter and Instagram handles. Remember, it's hashtag HU Dog of the Day to nominate your dog for Dog of the Day. Pick a winner every Saturday. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. Fantasy 5 is back tomorrow, and more guests lined up. We are having a little difficulty getting a hold of Sean McIndoe. We will endeavor to collect him for a segment later on in the program. Stephen Wino coming up. Dave Isaac coming up to talk to us as well. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. We'll take the break and come right back.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Look, we know it happens. Life gets in the way, and sometimes you can't catch the live edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. But we've made it easy for you to catch up on the show you might have missed. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis is available as a podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Blog Talk Radio. You don't want to miss an episode. If you missed the live show, check out the podcast. Don't miss any shows. There's a test coming up later. Subscribe now. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Use the code Get the Savings. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis listeners save with Seat Giant and the promo code TODD. That's TODD at SeatGiant.com. Just log on to SeatGiant.com to find the best tickets to NHL games, concerts, or whatever you want, and save. Use the promo code TODD. That's TODD when you check out, and you save. Canadian listeners can save at SeatGiant.ca. That's SeatGiant.com and .ca. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing. Nova Product Design, Industrial Design, Mechanical Engineering and Design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. Saturday edition here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Yes, we've expanded that out, especially for Saturdays because of the HU Dog of the Day. That is the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Tweet us, send us your photos on Instagram. Every Saturday, we choose the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. We like dogs. We like great dog photos. We like great dog stories. So include a few details, your name, dog's name. If there's a good story that goes along with it, maybe it's a rescue, maybe it's a service dog, maybe it's a working dog. We've had all kinds of great dog photos. We'll be bringing you good stories as well, because all of the teams, I have seen so many teams on social media in the last couple of days with photo sessions of their players and dogs doing calendars that they'll be releasing and in the coming days. I think it's just been great. There was a terrific little gift from the New York Islanders about a puppy that John Tavares was holding, and he was kissing him and licking him. Oh, it was really it was really terrific to see. So we will be bringing you those stories, and yes, we're looking for yours as well. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We'll do it every Saturday. Just tweet us your nominations, and we'll select a winner at the end of the program. I was talking about the uniforms, the new uniforms that we're seeing in the National Hockey League this year, and I don't know. I kind of like them. I think they're okay. They've undergone a bit of a redesign. Not everybody is completely thrilled with them, but I think they're good. I kind of like them. I kind of like the quilted look and dimpled look, or whatever you want to call it, on the shoulders of a bunch of the teams that I've seen. I think it's good. It reminds me of this quilt that has been in my family for goodness knows how many decades. But I remember it when I was a kid, and it just kind of reminds me of that. I think it's just kind of a nice looking thing. I'm okay with it. A whole bunch of things that we want to get into coming up later on in the program. Stephen Wino from the Associated Press is going to join us from AP. He has a story out today that undoubtedly will get some people's attention because it has to do with the NHL, the NHLPA, and the potential for upcoming negotiations between the two parties to perhaps begin a little earlier than anticipated. Like if one is to decide that the CBA, I apologize every time I mention the collective bargaining agreement. Sorry, but it might start a little early. And part of the reasoning being that there is no Olympic participation by the National Hockey League this year. I can't say I'm surprised at that, but yeah, that's what we might see is something that occurs a little bit early. I don't want to get too bogged down in that because I'm excited about the new season. We've had hockey has been away for a couple of months in the summer, and that means that we're getting back to it. The final cuts are going to be coming. Players are going to be placed on waivers. This is the part that everybody's excited about at this time of year. Who's going to make it? Who's not going to make it? Fans are more engaged than ever, knowing the contract status of players and who needs waivers, who doesn't need waivers to be sent to the minors. Which teams are going to make that hard choice of keeping a younger player over a veteran that has been established and putting that veteran on waivers at the risk of losing him? These are the stories that are going to play out over the next couple of days as we get closer to opening night on Wednesday. I think there could be some significant changes this year. One of the teams that's going to be under the eye is the Philadelphia Flyers, because they've got a lot of good young players that are coming into their lineup, potentially. And is there going to be enough spots for these young players, or are they going to choose veterans? We've seen a number of players accept professional tryout contracts this year. It seemed like there was a new one or two or three announced every day almost leading up to the start of training camp. And we've seen more players be released from them. Ryan Malone was released the other day. Jared Cowan was released the other day by the Colorado Avalanche. He made a bunch of noise earlier in the summer after expressing his displeasure with how he was treated by the Toronto Maple Leafs when he was acquired. Figured if he was going to be able to get back into the league, it would be with the Colorado Avalanche, but didn't exactly play out. But this is the kind of stuff that's going to play out over the next couple of days. And which teams are going to keep those veterans or maybe find a place for younger players. There's some teams that should be working harder to find holes for younger players. But I'll tell you, it's this is the fun time of year. This is the interesting time of year that we're going to see teams make choices, teams make decisions, and some of them are going to surprise people. There's a lot of talk of which team might be the eventual landing place for Jaromir Jagr. There isn't going to be one. I have been talking about this since the end of last season, through the summer on our little Saturday podcasts that come out on Wednesday, and now leading up into this season. I have said this since the end of last year. There isn't a spot for Jaromir Jagr. It's like some members of the media are having a telethon in efforts to get him a job. Call now. Jaromir Jagr needs a job. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. He can't play in the league anymore. He is absolutely one of the best players of all time. And in 3 years, he'll show up in Toronto at the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, hopefully in a mullet. I mean, that would be the best. If Jagr's got the full mullet going, and as he shows up for the Hall of Fame induction ceremony, I think that would be spectacular. I think that would be spectacular. But there's no place for him in the National Hockey League this year. And this is not a slight against Jaromir Jagr the way some people are trying to make it out. All these clickbait stories of how come Jaromir Jagr is not being employed? How can no team be signing Jaromir Jagr? Yeah, he did score some goals last year with Florida. You're right. But they also had their top players injured for much of the year. So he was pushed up into a role out of necessity. If you want to base employing Jagr by illustrating the success of the Florida Panthers last year, do I need to remind you what kind of year the Florida Panthers had last year? Barkov, Huberdeau, both missed huge numbers of games. And the season before, when Jaromir Jagr was given too much credit for the success of Barkov and Huberdeau, they were teenagers. They were kids. They were still finding their way. But in the late stages of the Florida Panthers season, a couple of years ago, the good year when they made the playoffs before they screwed it up at the end of that year and into last year, at the end of the season and into the playoffs, Jaromir Jagr was exposed. Couldn't handle the pace, couldn't handle the intensity, and it showed, and the Panthers paid the price for it. But they brought him back. Advocates are saying, oh, Jagr, he'll be great, he'll score. No, he won't. If you're a good team or want to be a good team, he can't play anything more than maybe the power play. And that's only because the power play does not go up and down the ice. You could just plant him in the offensive zone. He's not a player to sign. He's not a player to sign if you want to be a successful team. Robbie Fabry had that terrible break, surgically repaired leg, re-injured. He's going to miss the season. And already the short-sighted media are saying, oh, sign Jagr, sign Jagr. How is he a fit with St. Louis? Not even close. They're getting younger. They're getting faster, just like the rest of the league is. And you want to sign a senior citizen. Or some would suggest you sign a senior citizen. Not a chance. He can't possibly be a fit. Oh, yes, of course. Those in the know said, oh, Doug Armstrong is your media availability. What with Robbie Fabry out, why wouldn't you consider signing Jaromir Jagr? And his answer was very clever. We've talked about it internally. Didn't say that called to ask, wanted to learn more, wanted to engage in dialogue. We've talked about it internally, which means they all shook their heads and said no. Oh, the clickbait frenzy that's gone on. Yager's still talking to 3 teams. Well, he may be talking. I'm not sure how much listening is going on. Oh, I'm not going to play for Kladno this weekend because something might happen in the NHL. No, it won't. No, it won't. If he had a real opportunity with an NHL team, he'd have been in camp by now. He'd have been working by now. That's not happening. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Tweet us your photos. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Nominate your dog for the Dog of the Day. And we will select a winner at the end of hour number 2. Lots more to come on this first edition for the new season. Dave Isaac in the next hour. Stephen Wino coming up in the next hour. We'll talk NHL. Haven't done the questions for the divisions yet. We'll do a couple today and we'll do a couple tomorrow on our Sunday program as well. But we're here every Saturday and Sunday, streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. Back with much more after the break.
The best way to get set for the busy Saturday night of hockey is with Hockey Primetime. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, host Connor McKenna whips you around the league for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game starts. Plus, he'll give his own spin on the biggest stories in the National Hockey League. Hockey Primetime with Connor McKenna. Sometimes serious, sometimes a little goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova Product Design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova Product Design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Nova Product Design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova Product Design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Being on the World Wide Web is great. Being found is the tricky part. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization is the only way your business can get a leg up on the competition. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. For the necessary tools to make your business stand out in a crowded marketplace, 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition. We are here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Year number 7, hour number 2 of the initial program. We are looking forward to it. There have been a lot of things that have gone on in the summer that we'll explain to you and get straightened out over the next little while, and we are looking forward to a brand new season. We are streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio, also live on Facebook, on Periscope, on YouTube Live, and Spreaker Live, audio and video. We had Josh Smith with us in our first hour. Terrific information about the new NHL rule enforcement of slashing, faceoffs, and much more. Coming up this hour on the program, Stephen Wino of the Associated Press will join us. Stephen's got a story out today about the Sorry to say this, CBA. And that there might be a little discussion a little earlier than some anticipate. We'll get into that and much more with Stephen Wino coming up later on. Also joining us later on in the program, Dave Isaac of the Courier-Post in New Jersey, who covers the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of interesting players still in camp with the Philadelphia Flyers. A lot of good young players. How many of them are going to be on the roster come opening night when the season gets going in a few days? At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles this year. Yes, on Instagram as well. We want your Dog of the Day nominees via Twitter, via Instagram. Use the hashtag HUDogoftheDay. Send us a cool photo. Could be your dog, could be a dog you love. Send us your name, the dog's name. If there's a good story that goes along with it, we're always looking for good dogs to be nominated for the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. As mentioned, Season 7 getting underway. First day will be here at a regular time every Saturday, every Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific. Welcome back to those of you who have joined us in the past. And welcome. It's nice to have you. To those of you who are joining us for the first time, a lot to get into. We like unfiltered ideas, thoughts, and discussion. Not clickbait, not the same garbage that you hear in other places. If you have something to say, we like to listen. We like to engage in discussion. Feel free to tweet us, email directly as well, todd@hockeyunfiltered.com. Our goal is to provide unfiltered ideas, opinions, analysis of what's happening in the NHL. If we like something, we'll say it. Tell you why we like it, why we think it's good. If we don't like it, same thing applies. I think this is bad because, and we'll give you the reasons why, and not just gripe about stuff. Let's actually offer ideas and suggestions as a way to make things better and to improve them as well going forward. So feel free to join us and join the conversation at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports on Twitter and on Instagram. Oh, a lot to get to. I was talking about Jaromir Jagr in the last segment before the top of the hour. And I'm maybe the only one that isn't surprised that he hasn't signed with an NHL team, because I don't think he's really got anything to offer. If he's going to play on a team, what's he going to play? On the power play? Maybe. But it's the way he plays it dictates how your whole team must play to accommodate him. And that's not good for a team that expects to be near the top of the standings and to be one of the good teams, one of the top teams. I don't think that he's got enough to offer a team anymore. Oh, how could Florida not sign him? They've got young, fast, skilled players. Can't keep up. During the season, 2 years ago when Florida went to the playoffs, yes, he was helpful. He was helping the teenagers learn how to play. True. Last year, yeah, he still scored a bunch of goals because he was the only one that was healthy enough to get out on the ice and still score. No. It's not a league for Jaromir Jagr anymore. Oh, I'm still talking to 3 teams. Oh, you might be talking, but I'm not sure that the teams are listening. Could he maybe play on a power play? Maybe. But I'm not even sure he could do that anymore. The impact he has on a team is less and less from a production standpoint, but more and more from a you have to change to accommodate him standpoint. I'm not sure he could even play on the power play anymore because teams are changing the way they're operating their power plays and having defensemen creep down. They're in constant movement, trying to move the puck around, swinging their whole formation around from one side of the ice to the other. You have defensemen creeping in towards the goal and then backing back out. The Hawks were great at this. That was one of the reasons they were successful in the power play. They got their defensemen activated. I don't think that Jaromir Jagr's got a place to play. Oh, I'm not going to play in Kladno this weekend because still talking other teams, got to pay attention. No. Teams are cutting players now. They're not adding players. If there was an opportunity for Jaromir Jagr in the NHL, it would have happened already. 3 years from now, show up at the Hall of Fame, grow the mullet until then. In fact, that would be even better. Don't just show up, grow it out now, and have a 3-year mullet when you show up in November 3 years from now. I think that would be tremendous. There's other announcements that we're going to be waiting for in the next couple of days. This one's been kind of quiet, but I expect it's going to have to come at some point, and that's with Jarome Iginla. He's done kind of the opposite of Jaromir Jagr. He's just quietly stayed in the background. His representatives have been asked what's going on, and you hear reports occasionally over the summer and through the last few weeks especially. Well, we're evaluating our options. I'm not sure that there's a lot of options to evaluate. Same thing. Tremendous career, fantastic NHL player. He too will be welcomed warmly into the Hall of Fame in 3 years' time. In fact, it's going to be a whale of a class in 3 years' time. Jaromir Jagr, Jarome Iginla, don't forget Shane Doan, because we went through this dance with him. No, it wasn't handled in the best set of circumstances, but the Arizona Coyotes moved on. They understood that they had to. Could they have handled it better? Possibly. Could Shane Doan have handled it better? Possibly. They both came to the correct realization, albeit at different times, that there was no future in the National Hockey League for Shane Doan. Shane Doan said, yep, that's it. I'm going to be an unrestricted free agent, and I'm going to evaluate and look at the best options. Oh, there were conversations, one or two, but don't be mistaken. Those conversations didn't go very far. Shane Doan, I've had a great 20-year career in the National Hockey League, been the captain of team. Everybody thinks I'm a great guy. How about I come play for your team this time? Yeah. Let's see. Production really tailed off bad last year. You might be able to eke out a fourth-line role. You're not going to play every night. That's about all we can offer you. That's about all that you would offer Shane Doan. And he smartly realized that, yeah, it's time to step away. Had a great career, and now move on into the next phase of your life. We have seen this so many times in the past. And I understand that players want to go out on their own terms, but very few do. You want to keep playing because it's all you've done since you were a kid, and you're I'm sure afraid of what's next. You're afraid to take that next step because you're not sure exactly where that footing's going to be. But there comes a time when you have to take it. You just cannot keep up and cannot play at that same level anymore. It happens. So Shane Doan came to the realization that there were no offers of significance coming his direction. It's like, you know what? It's time for me to say farewell. And there will be other players that do it as well. Some more gracefully than others. I think Jarome Iginla will say, thought about it, talked about it, nothing really there. It's time. They have to rationalize it in their own head. And I can understand that too. But you just want to say, you know what? I'm going to take a little time and think about this and get comfortable with it. Because it's a huge life change. It's no different than anyone who changes jobs, whether by choice or not. If you're changing jobs, that's a big commitment. That's a big decision that you have to decide, okay, I'm going to venture into this new area. Or, as we've seen so often with so many people now, oh, we've restructured, and we've restructured you out of the picture. That's a way of life for people now, is that you get restructured out of the picture, and something you've done for 10 years or 15 years, or in some cases even longer, 20 years, you're no longer doing anymore because they don't want you in the building, and they're saying, go home, and you've got to figure out what to do next. That's a big life change. Same thing here. You're going to feel hurt. It's as if you've been rejected. And in a sense, the Coyotes rejected Shane Doan. The Florida Panthers rejected Jaromir Jagr. LA was Jarome Iginla's last team. They rejected him by not bringing him back. It's the same, whether it's work or whether it's a relationship. Someone says, I don't want you here anymore. That's an adjustment that you have to go through. It's a big deal. So it takes time to do that. And when you're playing in a public league, it's even harder. But those are the stories that will play out over the next little while, as will others, as to who's going to make teams, who isn't going to make teams, and which teams are going to be hitting the ice, what that team is going to look like starting on Wednesday night when the National Hockey League season opens with 4 games and then really gets rumbling through next weekend. A lot of reason for excitement with young players coming into the league, the most talented players, new talented players. It's going to be fun and exciting to watch. There are teams that are still looking to sign players. There's a couple of those that still haven't been locked up yet. Josh Anderson of the Columbus Blue Jackets. How does that play out? I mean, that's a situation that has gone on far longer than I expected. There's the Pasternak one. It got done as I expected. Sam Bennett out in Calgary. It got done as I expected. This Josh Anderson thing has gone on and on. And so has Andreas Athanasiou of the Detroit Red Wings. It has gone on longer than I expected. I'm really kind of surprised that neither one of those has been resolved as of yet. And both those teams need to get that figured out. For Columbus, you don't want this lingering on. You don't want this to become Ryan Johansson 2.0. You want this figured out. If you're going to trade him, trade him. You got the cards being played over the last couple of days with the story that Anderson has requested a trade. Then you have someone else reporting that the Columbus Blue Jackets have not heard such a request. These are ploys. These are manipulation/negotiation tactics trying to get something going. Same thing with Athanasiou, the Detroit Red Wings. Now, there's a team that needs good young players. They don't have nearly enough of them. They're going to struggle. They need good young players in their lineup. They got to get this one figured out. How about that signing of Craig Anderson on Friday? Sens get him for 2 more years for less than $5 million per on average. That's a great deal for Ottawa because they need a goalie. They need a goalie they can rely on, someone who was terrific for them last year. We all know the emotional story of his wife, Nicole, and the cancer diagnosis and him returning to the team. They need him. If they're going to have any hope of getting back into the playoffs and having a decent season, anything close to what they did last year, they need Craig Anderson playing. And they need him playing at a high level because they're starting the year without Erik Karlsson. And he can't come back soon enough. That's going to be an interesting team to watch. They are going to be one of the more interesting teams to watch this year to see how they get out of the gate. Derek Brassard just getting healthy. He's going to be a while. That's an interesting team to watch. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Send us your photos. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day to nominate your pooch for the Dog of the Day. Twitter, Instagram, email them as well. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is the email. Coming up on the program, Dave Isaac of the Courier-Post, talking Philadelphia Flyers. Stephen Wino, the Associated Press, also scheduled to join us. Lots to get into. We are days away from the start of a new NHL season. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back after the break.
So you had to get groceries, take your daughter to dance class, and a pipe burst in the kitchen. You missed Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. No problem. All of our shows are available as a podcast right after the show airs, so you can listen when life gets in the way of hearing us live. Subscribe through iTunes and get alerts as soon as the podcast is available.
Please leave a message after the tone. Thank you.
And listen. Plus, check out the other cool stuff.
At the tone, please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Nova Product Design is designed for manufacturing. Nova Product Design can get the job done with mechanical and industrial design. Nova Product Design is also fully functional for laser cutting, water jet cutting, plating, coatings, and more. Nova Product Design, innovative design and the latest technologies. Nova Product Design can design, build, and test any required types of prototypes and beta units. Visit novaproductdesign.com. We're looking for your Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day nominations every Saturday. Now you can send them through Instagram. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Send us a photo of your dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate them as the HU Dog of the Day. Include your name, the dog's name, and any other cool details you want. We choose a winner and add them to the Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day.
Welcome back. This is Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition. We are here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports. Todd at hockeyunfiltered.com is the email address. Hashtag today, HU Dog of the Day. Nominate your dog for the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. Send us a tweet. Send us a post on Instagram. We will select a winner. Coming up before the top of the hour, Dave Isaac of the Courier Post scheduled to join us, talk a little Philadelphia Flyers, who might or who might not be in the opening night lineup for the Philadelphia Flyers. Whole bunch of other things to get into. Questions about all 31 teams. Won't get to them all today. We'll do some today, and we'll do some tomorrow on our Sunday program as well. Every Saturday, every Sunday, 11 Eastern, streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio, also on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube Live, and Spreaker.
You have reached the maximum
fingers
time
crossed,
permitted for
we've been
recording your message.
Technical issues on our first day. Fingers crossed, though, that Stephen Wino, the Associated Press, is with us. Stephen, are you there? Doesn't look like it. We'll try again. We will try again to see if we can get Stephen with us. Stephen, are you there? Still having a little issue. We'll try and get Steve Wino, the Associated Press, back with us. Had a story this morning that came out from Stephen about how the Olympics could be the next hot topic in CBA discussions. Sorry, I mentioned CBA. I like to apologize every time I do, just because we've had so much negative talk about the collective bargaining agreement and the frustrations and difficulties that it has caused and getting a deal for both sides. What Stephen's point is that because of the Olympics, that could be a big deal in the next collective bargaining agreement. And one side may say that, you know, we'd like to open this up and engage in some discussions a little bit sooner than we had originally anticipated, because could go a couple of years longer, but no, we're going to stop and discuss it now. Now, the Olympics aren't the only issue that may cause the early discussions of the collective bargaining agreement. It's not the only issue, but it may be an important one because, of course, to no one's surprise, players were frustrated they couldn't go. Stephen, are you with us now? So close. Thought we had him there. Are you there, Stephen?
I'm here, Todd.
Awesome. Yay. Much appreciated. Stephen, I was just teeing up your story this morning that came out that you're ruining it for everyone by saying that the CBA discussions may start a little bit early because of the Olympics. Now, that's not the only issue, but that's an important one for a lot of people, players included, of course. But is there really a significant chance that these discussions and talks might start a couple of years earlier than we anticipated?
Yeah, there's a chance of this, because remember, Gary Bettman had at least offered the suggestion to players a year ago to extend the CBA by 3 years in exchange for going to the Olympics, and the players said no to that. So there are clearly enough things here that the players are not happy with in the agreement, namely not going to the Olympics and the escrow payments that they have to make as part of the current CBA that has them at least willing to open up, willing to discuss it. Now, if cooler heads prevail and everybody says, let's wait out to the end of this agreement, we're talking 2022 for our next potential work stoppage. Otherwise, it'd be 2020.
So if we go through, let's try and suppose out in a few areas. If we go through to the maximum length of this agreement, will there have to be another Olympic discussion participation, yes or no, before that agreement expires?
There one that would probably have to, yeah, we'd have to have, if it goes to 2020, yes, 2022, excuse me, yes. 2021 is when it would be, in theory, reopened, and there'd be some debate at that point before signing an agreement and before those Beijing Olympics. And we know that the league has had more interest in going to the Beijing Olympics and making inroads in China and all of that, but there's still no guarantee that the league is going to say, yes, we're definitely going to Beijing in 2022. So that's why this could be an argument before that.
Stephen Wino is with us, covers the National Hockey League for the Associated Press. You can follow him on Twitter at @swino. His interesting piece this morning about the potential for the CBA, to reopen a couple of years earlier. Now, the Olympics, though, Stephen, is just one issue. There are others, and the one that most gets talked about, I think, is escrow, and that's the amount that's siphoned off the top of the players' salaries. They don't like it, and who would? And I'm just not sure if there's an easy solution to the amount of escrow that comes out of players' salaries.
If there's an easy solution, it's for somebody smarter than us to figure out. But in talking to people who know about business and about escrow, there are ways to redo the system in terms of what the midpoint of salaries are, or how you figure out hockey-related revenue, and how you do the calculations and projections to at least lower the escrow. Right now it's 15 point. It was last season. It was 15.5% for players. So imagine if 15% of your pay, every paycheck, was held off just in case that projections were wrong for your entire industry, basically. And that's what the players are dealing with now and are very unhappy about. They did agree to a collective bargaining agreement where you're splitting revenues 50-50 with the owners, but you're also now remembering that this now depends on how much teams are spending. If they're not making as much money and spending more money, then the players wind up getting less of that, a smaller chunk of that. There are ways to fix that, and I think players would like to take a look at that before extending the CBA.
So does this have more to do with the growth of the business, the National Hockey League, as much as anything else? Because when the first CBAs were introduced and there was a cap and there was revenue sharing, or not the revenue sharing, but the splitting of the revenue 50-50 with the teams and the players, we saw significant jumps in the salary cap each year. Those have slowed, but they have still been pushed up by the players choosing to push that salary cap level up. Is that part of the issue as well?
It is, and this is one of the more complicated parts of the salary cap and the players' escalator clause in this deal, is that in theory, if you're a player already under contract, you don't want the salary cap to go up because you're going to get a higher escrow, and it's going to spread the pie out, more slices of the pie. If you are a player needing a contract, you want the salary to go up. And there's a philosophical belief among players that you should, in theory, want your colleagues to still continue to get contracts because it's good for everyone. The bigger the money, the more contracts, the better. But when the revenue hasn't been increasing like it has in a lot of these other leagues, the salary cap hasn't gone up as much in the last 3 or 4 years as it did at the start of the salary cap era, when it went up in big jumps along the way because there was a revenue growth that entire time. The Canadian dollar has sagged a little bit. The TV deal is not, except with the exception of maybe a Canadian deal, the U.S. TV deal is not as lucrative as the NBA, the NFL, or Major League Baseball's deal. And in theory, once there's a new deal a few years from now, in 2021, when the current agreement expires, that's the next move that in theory would raise the salary cap. Until then, I can't imagine that there are such giant leaps in revenue that would raise the salary cap much higher than the current $75 million.
So there's a number of factors that play into it, and growth of the business is being a significant one, and you have to find new forms of revenue as well, because unlike some of the other sports leagues that also, in addition to having those big TV contracts illustrate their increased salary cap. The NHL is still a very ticket-driven league, and they are at capacity at a great number of arenas, so there's not a lot of revenue to be gained there either.
It is, and this is why now that you're splitting now revenues among a 31st team in Vegas, that a handful of players around the league have said, look, it's on us, and it's on us to make sure Vegas gets the adequate amount of attention and interest, and not that it's on the other 30 teams to make sure Vegas succeeds, but just that Vegas has enough interest that the Golden Knights do sell out, that they do get attention, that is a revenue-generating team. Because when you're looking for sources of revenue, it happened a few years ago when NHL signed up with Major League Baseball Advanced Media and kind of handed their website over to them. That was a source of income there and source of revenue. Getting the $500 million is just for the owners. That's not even hockey-related revenue. But if Vegas generates revenue and is a successful franchise, that is a way that in a very gate-driven league, the NHL still is, to get revenues up at least a little bit. Because otherwise, you're right. When the players increase the salary cap by 2, 3, 4, or even 5%, you're going to see a higher amount of escrow, and you're going to see more tensions rise with the potential reopening of the CBA a couple of years from now.
Stephen Wino is with us from the Associated Press, covers the National Hockey League. At @SWino is how you follow him on Twitter. And one of the ways the league is hoping to increase revenue, of course, is expansion into the Far East. We had the games in China that took place in Shanghai and Beijing. Now, this is, I don't know where or how you come down on this in terms of success. I think it's almost too soon to tell. It's the first step. You can't just play a couple games there and hope that things go really well and you sell a lot of merchandise and attract a large TV audience. But is this the first positive step in a strategy that will hopefully benefit them in the long run?
Yeah, it's the baby step. And I spoke with Gary Bettman last week, and he said the China games exceeded all expectations for the NHL compared to what other sports had done when they first stepped into China. Now, we got to remember, the NHL is far behind the NBA in getting into China, and this is going to be a long-term play, not just looking at the 2022 Olympics, even though the Chinese government is very interested in that and getting kids to start playing hockey because of that. But the NHL looks at China and says, if you get 1% of 1 billion people interested in hockey and paying for jerseys and interested in watching games, that you can make a large amount of money there. And it looks like they're going to be certainly playing 5, 6, 7, 8 games over the next several years there. Exhibition, potentially some regular season games in China. And it's a long-term build there that games have been on television there. They've gotten not great ratings in terms of share of the population, but when you consider how many millions of people watch the NHL already in China, just given how high the population is, the NHL sees a large growth potential in China. But it's certainly not going to happen overnight. And 2 exhibition games between the Canucks and Kings isn't going to be a jump start. It's just going to be a first step in getting people in China interested in what the NHL brand and NHL game is.
And is this an area that the players have to, in a sense, accommodate and be true partners with the league and say, yeah, it's a long way to go, we're going to suffer jet lag, but it's in our best interest to grow this game and suck it up and play a couple of games if you're the team chosen?
Definitely, and it seems like players are interested in doing that. Players have gone over already on trips in the summer. The Bruins have taken a couple years now in the summer and gone over. The Capitals are very interested in sending a convoy of folks over next summer. Players seem interested in going over there, and BioSteel did a camp over there last summer. Tyler Seguin was there, and players seem fascinated by what hockey could be in China. It's very different culturally than anything over here, and I think players who are unfamiliar with those kind of customs and cultures are very interested in going over there and doing that. And if it's a little bit of jet lag as the price to pay for trying to grow the game over there, and all of a sudden seeing Rangers and Bruins and Capitals and Canucks and Maple Leafs jerseys all over China, I think players do recognize the value in that and think it's cool to make a trip over there and play a game over there.
Stephen Wino, the Associated Press, at @swino is how you follow him on Twitter. Stephen, thanks for today. Appreciate you bearing with our technical, our learning curve today, and look forward to having you back again soon.
Thanks, Todd. Talk to you soon.
Stephen Wino, the Associated Press. It's an interesting time with the league and growing revenue, because you got to keep growing revenue because everybody wants more, and there's only so much growth that you can have in North America. So you got to look at other areas. China is absolutely one of them. And Stephen illustrated it nicely. If you can get a small percentage of 1 billion people who are buying merchandise, watching games on TV, there's opportunities to generate an awful lot of income. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles for us. Yes, HU Dog of the Day nominations taken on Twitter and Instagram. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Tweet us a photo, send it via Instagram, and we will select a winner before the top of the hour. Before the top of the hour as well, Dave Isaac of the Courier Post will join us. We will talk Philadelphia Flyers. I mentioned earlier that we have not done traditional previews because we're going to get overwhelmed with those over the next little while. Not just previews. So I got questions about each of the 31 teams. We'll dive into a whole bunch of those when we return. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back after the break.
There's special savings for Hockey Unfiltered listeners with our new ticket partner, Seat Giant. And Canadian fans can also purchase in Canadian dollars. Go to seatgiant.ca, find the tickets you're looking for. Doesn't matter if it's NHL games, concerts, or any other event. You get a special discount with the promo code TODD. That's Todd with 2 Ds. Just enter the code, get the discount, you save. That's simple. Save on your next ticket purchase with Hockey Unfiltered and Seat Giant.
The number
the
you
best
have
way to
dialed
get
is
set
not
for
in
the
service
busy
at this
Saturday
time,
night of
or may
hockey
have
is
changed
with
to a
Hockey
different
Prime
area
Time.
code.
Beginning at
Please
5 p.m.
check the
Eastern,
area
host
code and
Connor
number
McKenna
and
whips
dial
you
your
around
call
the league
again.
for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game
The
starts.
number you have dialed
Plus,
is
he'll
not
give
in
his own
service
spin
at
on
this
the
time,
biggest
or may
stories in
have
the
changed
National
to a
Hockey
different
League.
area code.
Hockey Prime Time
Please
with
check
Connor
the
McKenna.
area code and
Sometimes
number
serious,
and dial your
sometimes a
call
little
again.
goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Search engine optimization is the key to success for your online business. It can be the key to success for any business. 1-844-SEO-LEAD is the number to call to get your business at the top of all searches. An official partner of Google, they have the tools necessary to make your business the one people notice
or may
first.
have changed to a different area code. Please check the area code and number and dial your call again.
Now you can nominate your dog or any dog you love as
The
the
number you
Hockey
have dialed
Unfiltered
is not
Dog
in
of the Day
service at
through
this time,
Instagram.
or may have
Every
changed
Saturday,
to a
Hockey
different
Unfiltered
area
with Todd
code.
Lewis will take your nominations for the Dog of the Day. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Send us a photo with the dog on Twitter or Instagram to nominate your dog. We choose a winner at the end of the show, and your dog will be recognized in the HU Dog of the Day gallery on our website and Facebook page. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova product design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova product design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Novo product design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova product design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more.
Welcome back. It's Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition. We are here every Saturday and Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio. Also streaming live, Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube Live, Spreaker Live, and we will be adding more points of distribution in the days and weeks to come. Look forward to more exciting announcements, and that's all I can really say about it right now. Good first day, lots of good conversation, lots of good discussion, lots of good thoughts on the NHL season that's set to begin in a few days. Wednesday night, it opens up with 4 games. Some fun stuff, some discussion of rules. Good HU Dog of the Day nominees so far. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day on Twitter, on Instagram. Send us a photo of your pooch. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We select a winner every Saturday. It's a feature that we are pleased and proud to promote fully again this year. Looking forward to that. Coming up on tomorrow's program, more great guests as well, including Stephen Laidlaw. Yes, the Fantasy Five. Stephen Laidlaw will join us coming up tomorrow with the Fantasy Five, and Steve's going to join us a little bit early as well because he's got a couple of thoughts and ideas on when and how you may help your draft. So something to keep in mind for tomorrow. HU Dog of the Day, hashtag HU Dog of the Day. I mentioned that I want to go through some of the questions that I have on a number of teams in the NHL. I went through, had a look at it, and decided that no, we're not going to do like traditional previews because we're going to get overwhelmed with that over the next few days. So I did go through and see that there's questions that you can have just about every team in the NHL. Kind of went up and down the lineups, and for Anaheim, I went through all the divisions, and I kind of went through them in terms of how they finished last year and what they look like going into this year. So for Anaheim, can the Ducks survive the early part of the season is my question. Ryan Kessler's out. They got a couple of defensemen who are going to miss significant periods of time. And yes, I think they can, and I think it might serve them well, actually. Kessler got beat up all last season. If he's only going to play half a year this year, that could serve them well. They'll find out exactly how deep their pool of defensemen is, as a matter of fact, for Anaheim as well, because they've got a good young defense. I like Ryan Miller coming in as a backup. If Patrick Eaves plays as well as he did last year, that would be terrific. And Ricky Raquel is one of the superstars you don't know about in the NHL. Got some attention last year because of the contract thing, and once he came back, he started scoring and never really stopped. So yes, I think they'll survive, and I think they'll thrive, as a matter of fact. For Edmonton, after exceeding expectations last year and handing out a boatload of money to McDavid and Draisaitl, where do the Oilers wind up this year? There is no more. Is this the year they get into the playoffs? They are expected to win, and not expected to win in the regular season. They are expected to win in the postseason. That is easier said than done. I don't think there will be a problem with McDavid, certainly. I think Draisaitl will be okay. Some guys wilt under the burden of a big contract. I don't know how big an issue it'll be for him long term. They're going to have to rely on others to have big years as well, like Maroon, Cassian, Lucic, some others. I'm not worried about the big money stars. I'm worried about the supporting cast in Edmonton. For San Jose, how much are you going to miss Patrick Marleau? A lot, I think. Joe Thornton is back from knee surgery. He'll be Joe Thornton. By the way, I heard some stories about Joe Thornton and how he got through the playoffs last year after ripping up his knee and undergoing that reconstructive surgery in the offseason. You can't believe how hurt this guy was. Remember early in his career when people were on him, they had that playoff series when he was in Boston against Montreal, and people were ripping on Joe Thornton, and it's part of why he got traded out of there. You can't believe how tough a player he is. Some of the stories I heard, it's remarkable. I mean, he could barely walk. But yet he was out there giving all he could every game. I think San Jose is going to miss Patrick Marleau a lot. Their young players are really going to have to step forward if they're going to be a successful team this year. Calgary Flames. Are the Flames as good as they think they are? Because I'm not sure they are. I mean, the attitude of this team, it's like they think their stuff don't stink. And I think that's from the top down, whether it's Ken King or Brian Burke. I just think that they think they're better than they are. How big an upgrade is Mike Smith in goal? I'm not sure. Might be okay. Might not be okay. And I think there might be nights like that as the season goes along. I think there's nights he'll be okay, and there's nights he won't be.
The number you have dialed is not in service at this
Defense
time,
is good, but you got to score goals too. And I think that might be a bit of a problem for them.
Code and number and dial your call again.
For the Los Angeles Kings, new coach, new GM, but a lot of the same players. I don't know. I don't know what the expectations are in Los Angeles, but I don't think they should be too hard. Is the promised change in style going to help? I don't think so. They still got too many players on too many bad contracts for too long. See Dustin Brown, Marion Gaborik. Michael Camilleri might help, but he's got to stay healthy, and that's been a problem. He can't stay healthy, he can't help. Jonathan Quick was missed a ton last year, absolutely, but goaltending wasn't an issue for the Kings. It was scoring goals. I expect a nice bounce-back year from Anze Kopitar. Arizona Coyotes finished a single point ahead of the Vancouver Canucks a year ago. They might again this year. Oh, yeah, sure. They've got some good players. They've got some good young talent coming. Their defense is pretty good with Ekman Larsson, Jarmelson, Antti Ranta. We'll see how he does as being the guy for the whole season. But I don't care that you got Derek Stepan and Jason DeBeers. This is not going to be a good team. They're not going to make a big difference. Vancouver. The future is bright. But how far away is it? It's a long way. Brock Besser could be spectacular. I just think he has the potential to really make an impact. We saw it last year when he came up briefly, and he's looked terrific in the preseason. He could make an impact. I like Bo Horvat too. Some other good talent, but they also have Louis Eriksson and Thomas Vanek miscast. And also in Vancouver, the Sedins will play in Vancouver all season long. They will be asked about whether they will play in Vancouver all season long. Their teammates and management and coaches will be asked if they will play in Vancouver all season long. And despite the Sedins' statement that they will play in Vancouver all season long and they will finish their careers in Vancouver, they will be asked about whether they're going to waive their no-trade clause or whether the team is going to ask them to waive their no-trade clause all year long. It's clickbait. Don't fall for it. They're not going anywhere. They don't want to. The team doesn't want them to. That's where they'll stay. Yet many will try to manufacture controversy where none exists. And also now, in the same division, the Las Vegas Golden Knights. Vegas Golden Knights, if you prefer. Just how many defensemen are they going to keep? That's what I'm wondering about this team. What do they got? 10 NHL defensemen on their roster? How many are they going to keep? Hey, but anything that Vegas accomplishes, it's a success. It will exceed expectations. If they have players out on the ice skating around, they've exceeded expectations, because I don't think you should have expectations for Vegas this year. Yeah, they got some name players. They got Marc-Andre Fleury, and they have some other players who have prominent names, but in many cases, their best days are behind them. This is a process. This is George McPhee building a team, using assets to build a team and grow a team. They will be making trades and moving some defensemen, and they will be moving some other players out who have expiring contracts this year. This is a long process. And yes, despite all that you heard saying, oh, well, we want to have Vegas have a competitive team. They won't get steamrolled every night, but they're not going to win a lot of games. So temper your enthusiasm in terms of what kind of competitiveness we're going to see. So that's the kind of thing I've gone through for all the teams in the National Hockey League. That's just the Pacific Division. We'll do more tomorrow. We've got other stuff to get to tomorrow as well, including Fantasy 5. Couple more seconds to squeeze in a nomination for the HU Dog of the Day. Hashtag HU Dog of the Day on Twitter or Instagram with a photo of your dog. Dog's name, your name, also helpful. We'll pick a winner. Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day happens every Saturday. Streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio. At Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Our final segment, hoping to link up with Dave Isaac at the Courier Post, talk Philadelphia Flyers. Back with our final segment right after the break.
Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Look, we know it happens. Life gets in the way and sometimes you can't catch the live edition of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. But we've made it easy for you to catch up on the show you might have missed. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis is available as a podcast on iTunes, iHeartRadio, and Blog Talk Radio. You don't want to miss an episode. If you missed the live show, check out the podcast. Don't miss any shows. There's a test coming up later. Subscribe now. Get your business started getting more leads. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. The number to call if you want more online leads for your business is 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization can be the difference between success and failure. It's no coincidence which businesses are listed first in Google searches. Call 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Use the code Get the Savings. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis listeners save with Seat Giant and the promo code TODD. That's TODD at SeatGiant.com. Just log on to SeatGiant.com to find the best tickets to NHL games, concerts, or whatever you want and save. Use the promo code TODD. That's TODD when you check out and you save. Canadian listeners can save at SeatGiant.ca. That's SeatGiant.com and .ca. Cutting-edge design for manufacturing, Nova Product Design, Industrial Design, Mechanical Engineering and Design. Nova Product Design provides experienced design for parts and assemblies, manufacturing, assembly, and serviceability. From plastic parts to sheet metal forming, mold and tool design, injection molding, and more. Nova Product Design. Visit novaproductdesign.com to learn more.
Welcome back. It's Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's the Saturday edition here every Saturday, every Sunday, 11 Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, at Hockey Unfiltered, at Todd Lewis Sports, the Twitter and Instagram handles. Final call into the final minutes. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. Nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis Dog of the Day. Do it every Saturday. Tweet us a photo. Send us photos on Instagram. Use the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We pick a winner every Saturday. Lots to come tomorrow as well, and we're back. Yes, Stephen Laidlaw will be back. And in fact, we're going to have a few extra minutes with him tomorrow to help you with your strategy for your fantasy hockey pool if you're participating this year. The conspiracy to, let's just say, impact my results this year is occurring yet again. I've been in the same hockey pool with a lot of the same guys for a great number of years. Now, last year I didn't win. I won the regular season championship the year before. Got flamed out in the playoffs because I had a bunch of guys hurt. And previous to that, I'd won a few other years. So let's just say the conspiracy to impact my results is happening again. I'll get into it a little bit more tomorrow, but basically they've changed the time of the draft. It's like 3 times or something. Or it's going to be this day. Oh, no, it's not. It's going to be this day and at this time. No, it's not. Oh, it's going to be this day, but it's not going to be at this time. Anyhow, doesn't matter. That's fine. Doesn't matter. We'll persevere. Apparently we're having a few technical issues with Dave Isaac, and we apologize for that. We will hope to have him back in the near future to talk about the Philadelphia Flyers. They're an interesting team in terms of what their roster is going to look like this year. Nolan Patrick's looked great in the preseason. He's looked really good. And understandably, it's like, oh, well, where is he going to fit in this roster? how's he going to play, and where's he going to play, and how much ice time is he going to get? But he's looked good. Understandable. He was the projected #1 pick for so much of last year, but then Philadelphia Flyers were the beneficiaries when he went to #2. Allowed them to trade Braden Shen. I think the Philadelphia Flyers are going to be an interesting lineup this year. It's like how many young players are going to make that lineup? That young defense taking steps forward. Shane Gostisbehere had a tough year last year. I think he bounces back nicely. Ivan Provorov's a terrific defenseman, and he's just going to get better and better. I'm curious about the goaltending, though, for the Philadelphia Flyers. A year ago, Calgary Flames brought in Brian Elliott from the St. Louis Blues and thought, there we go. Here's a guy going to solidify our goaltending. He's going to help us out. And we're going to be able to take that step forward. And through the first part of the year, it was terrible. Got better at the end. And then there were more struggles. And that's why Brian Elliott is no longer in Calgary as a member of the Flames as their goaltender, #1 or otherwise. But the Philadelphia Flyers let Steve Mason go. They re-signed Michael Neuwirth, and they brought in Brian Elliott to be their guy. I don't know who's the #1 goalie. I think that might change a few times during the season. And I think that's still going to be a question going forward for the Philadelphia Flyers. I think their defense has the ability to take steps, move in the right direction. I think they could be good. I'm not sure if they're good enough to be a playoff team. But then there's that question about an awful lot of teams in the NHL who think they have taken steps in the right direction. They think they have taken the right steps to move forward. And I kind of look and say, I'm not sure if this is going to be the right move. There are others that I think have done really well. Oh, that'll be the other part of our program tomorrow as well. Because, of course, in addition to, we have a preview of this division and we have a preview of this conference, East and West, and we have to have predictions. It's the obligatory, we have to have a prediction show and we have to have predictions. So I've kind of gone through, and I don't put a lot of stock in predictions because so much can happen through the season. You can't make predictions with the expectation that players are going to get hurt or try to be unrealistic or hopeful. You try to be rational in your predictions. And try not to give teams and players too much credit. Oh, he had a great year last year, so he's going to be even better this year. Not necessarily so. You have to be realistic. So we'll go through, and I've kind of done the predictions of which teams will make the playoffs in the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference. And I also went through, and this one I'm not as sure on, but I've done who I believe will be the 4 division winners in each of the 4 divisions in the National Hockey League. And I have also looked through and taken a wild stab at who the Cup finalists will be and who the Stanley Cup winner will be. So these are all the standard predictions that you'll get from 1,000,001 sources between now and the start of the regular season coming up on Wednesday night with the first 4 games of the 1,230 in the regular season. So that the other thing that I'm going to do in terms of a prediction, if you will, and we'll list these all out. I'll put up the list on our Facebook page. We'll tweet out the link and the rest of it. The other thing I've done is I've predicted which teams are going to be the 5 lottery teams. So that's the other one. And there's 1 or 2 you can probably think, yeah, that's going to happen. But I think there's at least 1 that I have as a lottery team that might surprise a few people. So we'll do all that as part of our program tomorrow as well. As I mentioned, we'll have Stephen Laidlaw for a full segment tomorrow to give you a little bit of help in terms of your fantasy hockey pool and some drafting strategy and how you combat the conspiracy to submarine you before the draft takes place and all the rest of it. So we'll get into that and and a few other things tomorrow. But we're excited to be back, happy to be back for season number 7 of Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis. It's been a bit of a bumpy ride. We'll give you that on the first day, and we thank you for your patience and your indulgence. We're going through some technical growing pains on the first day. We'll be better tomorrow, and we'll be better after that. But we're excited that we're available in so many different areas this year. Streaming live on hockeyunfiltered.com, powered by Primetime Radio. Also streaming live on Facebook Live, Periscope, YouTube Live, Spreaker. All of our audio, by the way, is available shortly after the program airs as a podcast through our website, or better still, subscribe through iTunes, through iHeartRadio. You can subscribe and rate us there. Also this year, happy to welcome the Tampa Bay Lightning Power Play, where we will be appearing live, delayed on Saturdays and Sundays as well, as part of the Tampa Bay Lightning Power Play Network. We're looking forward to that. As mentioned, you can subscribe to our podcast through iTunes and iHeartRadio, and of course, streaming live, hockeyunfiltered.com. And really looking forward to a good season. We'll have much more tomorrow as we get a day closer to the start of the National Hockey League, and looking forward to that. And we will go through the balance of the NHL teams as well. We only made it as far as the Pacific Division today in terms of questions about each of the 31 teams. Thanks for listening today. Thanks for watching today. We appreciate the questions, comments, and feedback. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis, back tomorrow at 11 Eastern.
The best way to get set for the busy Saturday night of hockey is with Hockey Primetime. Beginning at 5 p.m. Eastern, host Connor McKenna whips you around the league for the latest stories and info leading up to the early game starts. Plus, he'll give his own spin on the biggest stories in the National Hockey League. Hockey Primetime with Connor McKenna. Sometimes serious, sometimes a little goofy, but always interesting. Listen live at hockeyprimetime.com, 5 p.m. Eastern every Saturday. Creativity and innovation are the hallmarks of Nova Product Design. Whether it's mechanical or industrial, cutting-edge technology and a commitment to excellence make Nova Product Design the company to choose. Prototypes and beta units are a Nova Product Design specialty. Striving for revolutionary new ideas and methods keep Nova Product Design at the forefront of innovation. Visit novaproductdesign.com and learn more. Hockey Unfiltered with Todd Lewis sends you to the biggest events at the best prices. This year, we've partnered with Seat Giant to give you special deals on tickets to NHL games, concerts, or other events. Simply go to SeatGiant.com, find the tickets you want. When you check out, use the promo code TODD for a special discount. That's promo code TODD for a special discount. Start saving with SeatGiant.com on your next purchase. Being on the World Wide Web is great. Being found is the tricky part. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Search engine optimization is the only way your business can get a leg up on the competition. 1-844-SEO-LEAD. For the necessary tools to make your business stand out in a crowded marketplace, 1-844-SEO-LEAD. Now it's even easier to nominate your dog as the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day. We do it every Saturday. Send us a photo on Twitter or now on Instagram with the hashtag HU Dog of the Day. We choose a winner every Saturday. That's simple. Now on Instagram or Twitter, send us the photo using the hashtag HU Dog of the Day, and your dog could be the one added to our gallery on the website and Facebook page. It's the Hockey Unfiltered Dog of the Day every Saturday.